Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rechak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. As always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Excuse me. I was watching this video here, and this is dealing with this whole situation with Corey Holcomb, where he had a situation that happened last year, beginning of last year, I believe, or it might have been actually the end of 2014. He had an incident that's going viral as of recent because somebody ended up sending footage to TMZ where, you know, he had a little altercation with another woman. She was a female comedian, and he pretty much had been attacked, you know, on social media, on the internet. It's a lot of selective outrage, you know, because they saw an edited video that, you know, made it seem to appear like, you know, this man just attacked this woman unprovoked. And that's not to justify his impulsive reaction, but a lot of people didn't they didn't do their own investigation. You know, if you're gonna judge anything, you gotta, you know, do a thorough investigation. But a lot of people on this side, you know, they're very emotional. They're not really fit to judge situations, you know, without making a quick assessment and, you know, not, you know, having their feelings in the way. You know, a lot of these men are raised by women, so they're emotional. You know, they're indoctrinated with feminism, you know, and they have that whole Queen of Heaven mentality where, you know, no matter what the woman does, she's never to be held accountable. Only the man is to be held accountable, and that is totally out of order. So this is why a lot of these women in the Western Hemisphere, or should I say just in the West in general, you know, they have that invincible attitude. So if you ain't seen it, you know, I'm pretty sure it's out there. It went viral, and last night he actually addressed the incident on his show, but he couldn't say too much because it's an open case right now. Because it was old. It was a situation that happened over a year ago, and it actually got settled in court. And Corey was the case was dismissed, but the case is being reopened because now they're adding a new narrative to the case, and they try to claim that Corey had a weapon on him, and, you know, he threatened her with it, and, you know, and this is something that you know, when somebody hates you, this is what they'll do. All right, it might be some powerful entities in the background that might be trying to you know, silence dude. All right, but anyway, he's gonna actually, you know, this is from an older episode where he actually explains what actually happened. All right, and you're gonna see why what we always say about these women, especially the so-called black women. All right, this is why nobody wants to be involved. This is why you're being ignored. All right, this is why you're the least desired in the dating market. Nobody wants to deal with that. Just a sloppy mess, man. Just an agent of chaos. All right, you know, men, you know, they rather, you know, just be on their own than to deal with, you know, this disruption of peace. Men value their own peace. So that's matter of fact, before I even play the video, let me start off with a scripture. Let's go to Sirach. Sirach 11. Because after, that footage hit TMZ, a lot of people that either don't know Corey like that, they all are going to assume based off of what they saw, because they got that cartoon mentality, that this dude is going around, slapping the hell out of women. But, people, and they didn't look into it, And there's so much, it's bigger fish out there, of course, it's prophecy happening. But I thought this would be at least significant enough for a lesson, because this is what we've been saying all along about these women. All right, it's better to be single nowadays than to definitely deal with these women. Now, if you got a sister, you have a wife that's, she's in order, then consider yourself blessed. All right, because there are women that the Most High cleaned up and is in the process of cleaning up, because you're going to have women that's going to be saved too. But the majority of these women, especially here in Babylon, they're done for, man. They're cooked. So anyway, this is Sirach 11 and verse 7. This is in the Good News translation. It says, before you start criticizing, get your facts straight and think the matter through. All right. In other words, you have to examine, the situation before you judge it. Don't be so quick to wrath, because most of these people, they have, selective outrage. They choose when to be appalled at something. It's usually, when mainstream media puts something out there directed to control your emotion, control you on what you should feel or what you should think, how you should behave, and that in itself is like a form of enchantment. Okay. And they know that it would definitely rile these women up, especially these feminists. All right. So all they see is a man, getting aggressive with a woman, just like, the Ray Rice situation. They even attack. I remember when you had that the footage of Jay-Z getting attacked by Beyonce's sister in the elevator, and they still attack Jay-Z, which fuck him. He's a demon. But I remember they was even on his head, and he didn't even really strike her back. He kind of defended himself. He was blocking her and stuff like that. So this society, the way it's set up, man, is horrible. Because you damned if you'll let a woman attack you and invade your space, and she can put her hands in your face, she can spit at you, and you can't do anything. In the ancient world, that none of this kind of shit would ever fly. Matter of fact, in other parts of the world, this shit doesn't fly. You women would not serve. You would not be living. You would not be breathing if you carried the same behavior here in America over in the other parts of the world. It would not happen. Shows you how freely you have it over here, but you have the nerve to play like you're these damsels in distress. That color purple mentality. Men are actually avoiding you, but then you also are pushing men against the wall. Causing them to lose self-restraint. And let's not act like that can't happen. And the Bible talks about that. You could provoke an ass whooping. You can get your ass beat because you talking too much. But anyway, let's get into the video. And this aired before this footage. This was after the incident had happened in late 2014. But so I don't know, somebody he pissed off, they ended up sending the footage to TMZ, and then it got edited, and then they put it out in circulation, and then it went viral. So now, his brand is being attacked. But let's listen to this.
And I told the comedy club, this girl sell drugs in front of your club and she's drama. I told them that. So look, fast forward to the girl in my face, you, your mama ain't you should have died when you fell off the scooter, your dick ain't all this. And so I was just like, Corey, you're not gonna do nothing. Even people were like talking to him, like, Corey, you ain't about to let her hype you up and woo woo woo. And then I was like, Corey, you didn't learn already from the last time? And he was like, you talking about? I was like, you don't remember the last time you said you were gonna super sock me, and you didn't see what God did to you then? And I was like, and then I did the I Want to Be Down Brandy dance in his face again. I said, you don't remember when oh, I would have paid anything to see this go down between you and him.
And of course, you got this demon, this ball dragon right here on the left, Tasha K, who makes a living off of, instigating and gossiping, tale bearing. We all know what the scriptures say about, meddling in matters, being a busybody. That's she makes a living off of that. That's her career. So the Lord got a special judgment for that demon, Tasha K. But a lot of people watch her because it's entertaining to hear the tea. All right, no different than Wendy Williams, and you see the Lord is dealing with Wendy Williams, man. The last time we seen her, she looked like she was in very bad shape. She looked real bad. I think she done lost her faculties or something like that. Probably hard of hearing, or I don't, something was wrong with her. All right, but that's part of her judgment. All that wickedness that you do. Anyway, just get back to this. So you hear the woman speaking on her right. She's the actual woman in the video. So she's the demon that was antagonizing Corey Holcomb. And she's even admitting that she was talking a lot of shit. So matter of fact, let me get the scripture. These women are totally out of pocket, man. And any man in their right mind wouldn't want anything to do with that. This is Proverbs. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not justifying Corey's actions. On this side, it ain't even worth it. You just gotta walk away. If you had like a sister, what I'm saying, that grew up, with you, that might know a few moves or two. You know what I'm saying? Because you yourself can't do nothing about it. This is a wicked, evil place. Proverbs 18 and verse 6, it says, fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They are asking for a beating. This is in the NLT. And verse 7, the mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. All right. And they do a lot of these things to get attention, and they think this shit is cute. But they're not taught at an early age that, they're not taught, how to be a lady. There's not a feminine trait to pump off at the mouth. Get all very bold and audacious in a man's face. It's more feminine to be shamefaced. But these women, it's the opposite. That's why the scripture says, it says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Which is basically, you know what that's saying. All right. The Bible literally calls a woman that's shameless a bee. All right. And that's what a lot of these women are, man. They don't exalt the proper conduct of a woman. Another quality of an actual feminine woman is silence, to be quiet. These women are far from quiet. You know, the scriptures talk about a silent, loving woman. You know, and if she, whoever her dude is, you know, that dude is, he's miserable, and he knows he's miserable. But all he saw was just a, you know, woman that might be, you know, she a zealous comedian that might have a little bit of notoriety. You know what I'm saying? And she happened to be light skinned, so he think that that's a some type of come up. Let me get Sirach 25. It might be in 26, but it talks about a quiet woman.